my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, it's your pick, and you thought, you know what, Chris? We're not going for action. We're not going for comedy. We're going for something that's given me PTSD from one of my previous jobs, Dave. So this is an iconic play turned into a movie. It's got a 95% rating on Rotten Tomatoes as we speak. It's from 1992, Dave, and the cast is as follows. Jonathan Pryce, Kevin Spacey, Alan Arkin, Ed Harris, Alec Baldwin, Jack Lemmon, but more importantly, Dave, Mr. Al Pacino. So we are going to be covering, and it's a hell of a tongue twister, Glengarry Glen Ross, Dave. So I had no idea about this movie until you suggested it last week. Nothing thinking, but I have had a lot of fun watching it, and also I've got some stories, Dave. So when do you remember watching this one?
So weirdly, I mean, I think I'd heard of it, but then I don't recall seeing it in Blockbusters or anything. This wouldn't have been a movie that I'd have picked up and watched anyway. You know, just it wouldn't have hit the sweet spot at all. But I saw this in, actually, kind of in a sales seminar. So basically,
Wow.
the VP of sales was across, and like I've generally always been in services, so I've done a bit of selling, but never the hard selling. Certainly no cold calling or anything like that, or been on a commission plan or whatever. But when you're in services, you're also trying to make sure that you fill in the pipeline to, you know, so that you've got stuff to work against. And he came across and he was speaking to all of services and sales, and it was one of those where he positioned it as, I'm going to show you a clip now. And he gave us a little bit of background. He was saying, obviously, you know, there's some things in there that aren't appropriate, and you wouldn't really treat people like that. But all the time I'm thinking, oh yeah, you would love to be Alec Baldwin here. You just know that you can't be, but you'd fucking love it. You would love to tear strips off everyone like Alec Baldwin does. And yeah, we watched it, and then it I think the very first time I was like, okay, you know, and I didn't like the over-the-top nature of it, you know, that it's just like, you know, proper what I consider that hard sell, you know, and trample over your own grandmother to sell a deal and whatever. And I didn't like it that very first time, but then it kind of grew on me. And what I did like was just that phrase. So the way the person who was showing it to us, he said the one big takeaway there is ABC, always be closing. And I thought, okay, yeah, I can get behind that. And it's a good way to just shape calibrate your brain to, okay, we're not just having a cozy chat, and we're not, right, always got to be closing, sign on the line that is dotted. And so I was like, right, I'll take that. And at the time, I was looking after a little team, and back then we were on Skype. I think we just moved across through some kind of Google Messenger that I seem to remember we were using. But, you know, before Teams and all that stuff, you know, it was Skype was our instant messenger of choice. And I thought, I wonder if I could come up with something for a services type spin on ABC. And in my sort of young naivety, Chris, I was thinking, yeah, curiosity. You know, that's something in the services world. You know, you're trying to solve complex problems, and so, you know, you want to be curious and asking questions. So I put up on my little Skype handle there, I put, always be curious. Which after a few minutes, of course, everyone's pinging me to say, are you a bit bi-curious, Dave? And I'm like, oh yeah, oh fucking hell. So massive David Brent misfire there. But yeah, since that initial time of watching it, and like I say, I've seen that scene so many times, and I've got to say, straight off the bat, like that scene in particular, I fucking love it. It is just so good. What an unbelievable performance. And I think last week I was sort of misremembering. I said, oh, I think it's based on a book. You just mentioned it. It is based on a play. And this scene isn't in the play. It was put in just for, laying things up. But what a masterful scene. And yeah, I'm sure we'll speak more about it. But that was the first time I'd watched it. It was all around that scene, and basically to try and get us all to think, right, how can we be closing these deals? But how about yourself, Chris?
So, like I say, never seen it, never heard of it, but being on the other side, Dave, so like you say, you've done sales at certain points in your career. My career started a long time ago, and I wanted to be a fireman. Then I wanted to be an electrical engineer, Dave, did my NVQs and ended up working admin at Manchester Airport. And that was nothing to do with what my career aspirations were. But I ended up for about 4 years being a buyer for a telecoms company from about the age of about 20 to 24, 25. And Jordan was only a baby when I left. So it was around about 2004, 2005 when I got out of that. And actually got the job that I've got now, which is what I wanted to do, using my hands, maintenance stuff. I've had many arguments and disagreements with sales. With many fucking salespeople I've come across in that fucking 4 or 5 years. That was an absolute eye-opener, Dave. And having recently just sold and bought my house, our new house, and all the shit that comes with it, and the fucking legislation now that the fucking UK government have put on people when you're trying to buy a house. Fuck me. It is so relevant. Salespeople are salespeople. They don't matter what they do. And like, you know me, Sam for years worked, and Jordan did as well, the motor trade. Jordan worked in it for like 9 years as service advisor, but Sam worked for like 25 years as a PA to the main, like, they're always like sales managers who get moved up to like, the guy who runs the dealer principal, they call it the DP, dealer principal. And he's like the top sales, but he runs a sales team. He's responsible for the whole site. Some of the fucking dodgiest people we've ever met, Dave. And having worked in telecoms, and I remember years ago, like they always used to say to me, loads of them, you should be a salesman. You're really good, you. Like even to the point, like the houses where we are in this new estate, I've had the fucking woman who's a sales manager ringing me up, "Do you know anyone, Chris? You're really good. Could you take people on?" I'm like, no, because it's not my job. And I've always stayed away from sales, but I know I would have been good at sales. But it's that, I think what I wouldn't have been good at is having that noose around my neck of low fucking wage, and it's all commission based, if that makes sense. So that as much as I'm good at it, and then a salesman told me, Dave, which I thought was interesting watching this, and the reason I'm talking about this is, if you're going to be a good salesman, you don't need to, because I know the ins and outs of everything. So when it comes to cars, like if we go and get a car, ADHD kicks in. I'm researching every fucking article on Google, especially video, YouTube. I'm researching everything I can do if I need to find out how to fix something. That's my job for fucking 21 years is maintenance, fixing, building stuff. If I don't know how to do it, someone online's done it exactly the same. So there's always going to be a solution. That's how my brain works. Is like, I'll be able to do it. I just need to understand how to do it and do it correctly. And knowledge is power, because that's the only way I learn is through the visual stuff. But watching this and some of the sales shit that goes on and the patter and everything, and I had a big bust up with the woman who we were buying the house off because she was trying it on, and I'm like, listen, I was a buyer anyway, Dave. We had a massive falling out as we were trying to buy and sell the house at one point, and Sam's like, it's not like you. And I went, yeah, but I fucking hate salespeople, because I just know the fucking your best friend until the deal goes through, and then they don't want to know you then once you've got the commission. So this has given me PTSD, Dave, which I can't wait to talk about more than anything with this, something like this. No matter how old this movie is, it's still relevant, because salespeople, and I know there's going to be salespeople listening, so I apologize, but just having worked as the good guy, I suppose, being a buyer and not having that, selling your soul to your granny. And I've come across plenty of people who've done that. And what I was getting at, the advice I got, because I've gone off on a tangent, was if you're going to be a good salesperson, don't know too much about what you're selling. Just know the basics. That will get you through, because if you know too much, you end up losing the deal then, because you give away, you overshare. It's all about like the art of deception. You know better than me because you've done this at a much higher level, but that's what I got told years ago by a lot of salespeople. Don't research too much.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we might be getting into the movie a bit too much, certainly where my head is, but there's different types, and I don't think that, people who sell stuff are all the same. And I know when I've done it in the past, the way I squared the circle in my head was, all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to help people because I know that what I have, can help them just with the exchange of cash. And one of my old mentors, really, he's retired now, but I remember him saying to me, when I'm trying to sell something, the very first person I sell to is myself. I have to wire my brain. I have to think, why is this thing so great? And so I think there are different approaches, different ways that people approach things. And you see, like Ed Harris's character, he's not the full-on Alec Baldwin, but we'll get into that, I'm sure, into the movie. But you mentioned about PTSD. I think that's one of the other things that's put me off the movie, all this time as well, is I remember when The Apprentice first started getting shown over here, and it's just like, it's too close to work. Like, just everything about it makes me think of work. And get the Terminator on. I see.
Yes.
Maybe that's going to be a bit too close to real life now as well. But, I just want some kind of escapism. I don't want to be reminded of work all the time. So that was the other reason I'd avoided it a little bit, apart from that scene. But I just wanted to tackle it because I wanted to see the whole movie. And so, yeah, the first time of actually watching it all the way through for me as well.
No, it's like I said, I didn't mean to jump into the fingers. It's just that my backdrop is, I've never seen this movie. I have no idea. It's interesting. It was a play, and it was such a successful play and everything. And the people clamoring over to play these parts. But you're right, like the most iconic bit of the movie is literally at the start. And that's the one everybody wanted to play, which is Alec Baldwin. But anyway, I'm so pleased you've picked this, Dave, because I've got stories, my friend. I have stories.
Well, I can't wait. But before the stories, should we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
In the ruthless world of real estate,
where selling houses somehow requires the emotional stability of a stage negotiator. David, I'm talking like this because most of them talk like this in the movie.
the leads are weak.
They're so weak they probably ghosted the estate agent already.
The pressure is mounting.
Nothing motivates a sales team quite like public humiliation.
Close the deal or clean out your desk.
Ah, yes, the 1990s management, HR's worst nightmare.
Shelley Levine has one last chance.
A salesman running entirely on coffee, desperation, and blind optimism.
Ricky Romer can sell anything,
including conversations that have absolutely nothing to do with property.
One office, one set of leads, and everybody's desperate.
It's less a sales meeting and more the Hunger Games with neckties.
In a struggling Chicago real estate office, a group of salesmen are told that only the best performers will keep their jobs. The top salesman will win a car, second place gets a set of steak knives, everyone else gets fired. Veteran salesman Shelley Levine is desperate for one last chance, while smooth-talking Ricky Romer seems able to sell anything to anyone. As the pressure mounts, rivalries deepen, loyalties crack, and every lead becomes more valuable than friendship. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, Dave, I've got to say, as I said before the trailer, PTSD 101 this. And you know what? I don't know about you, because obviously I'm talking about where I was. I worked in the telecoms industry when I was across salespeople and things like that. But when I've always gone and got cars, We always get a lot of good deals through Sam's car. Sometimes they've 6 months, we get another car, and then a year, I'm terrible, mate. Get so like bored of cars, but want the nice new shiny thing. If I used to go in Sam's showroom, I'd be like, she's the PA and she's running around like an idiot. I'm like, oh, what's that car out there? She's like, no. And within about a few weeks, Dave, it's usually ended up on my drive. So, but it was the dance of the sales thing, the sales. I don't know what it is in the motor industry, because I don't know if it's the same. And estate agents, very similar. Even now, having dealt with estate agents recently, they have just this, not an aura at all, but they have this thing about them where you can just tell they're lying through their fucking teeth. And it might not be your industry, so forgive me, and you've done sales, but you can just tell there's not many good ones about that wouldn't sell. And they all look like fucking 1980s, like Harry Enfield, loads of Del Boy or whatever. They all just have something about them. And men and women, I've come across loads, and some of them are nice people, but you just know that it's absolutely, because they're on commission, they've got it's money. I get it. But I find it a really interesting job to do full time, because you've really got to be ruthless, I think, to get to the top. And watching this, I found a lot of the dialogue in this was very similar to Wolf of Wall Street, which again is another movie which I absolutely love. It doesn't fall within the VHS Strikes Back, other than maybe a late fees if someone picked it. But I mean, obviously Margot Robbie's stunning in that. But as a movie, I love that scene with Leonardo DiCaprio when he goes into that shitty like sales office and he goes, I have an unbelievable fucking deal just come across my desk, and it shows like a fucking flashes to like a little shed with a little plaque on saying like, whatever it is, a business, and he's like, yeah, and they're all listening out, the whole room is listening. And when I worked in the sales office, there's a guy very much like Ricky Ross, Ricky Roma, not Ricky Ross, Ricky Roma, and he's still a friend to this day, Dave. He come in, I'm not lying, he came in, and I'm going to tell this story. It's a brilliant story. He comes into the office. He gets married to my old boss, who was the purchasing manager. They had an affair. They were both married. They come in, they've got a kid and everything, but they basically get together. And she was purchasing, he was buying, he was selling, and they were at loggerheads all day in a jokey way, because obviously they had like a proper connection. But Dave, he used to come in work, he'd have snakeskin fucking green shoes on. This is in Manchester, right? This is for. No, I'm
just picturing Finchy,
honestly,
from the office.
But he was dead flamboyant, and he ended up doing like QVC. They had their own line of like phones and like old school, like the old phone you used to get where you used to put your finger in and all that. They brought like a digital versions of them, and they had like the retro record players and all this sort of stuff. But he's a good mate of mine, actually. He's a big United fan, goes home and away. But the dodgiest.
Sorry, you mean that's an interesting way to describe a dial phone. Phones that you put your finger in.
You put your finger in, yeah. Push it up and down. But no, you used to go like warm.
Yeah.
The old school. He did all the record players and all that stuff. And he'd end on QVC, but he'd wear the most flamboyant stuff to the office, Dave. He'd have like, say, green snakeskin fucking shoes on with cream pants and a fucking white shirt. He'd look like fucking Boss Hogg sometimes out of fucking the Dukes of Hazzard, or he'd have like the most ridiculous outfits on. But he was the top salesman. He had his own little area in the office because he had sales, admin and purchasing all together. So the sales office has always got to be buzzing, And I work, where I work now, I work for an advertising company. I've worked there for 21 years, but the sales office is downstairs now, and a lot of it's predominantly women, but because it's out of media, outside media stuff. But they're not like the salespeople I've worked with when I worked at this phone place. They're very much like it is a bit more like you said. You're selling a service. They believe in what they're selling, and I'm not doing the company line like that. I've not seen any of them who are like Spiff, Delboy type. This guy, it was just like that. Dave, he's Ricky Roma. He would do anything, and to the point where they ended up having to leave the company because he took a load of customers and went to a competitor after years of being there, and it was just like a massive scandal. And I think Ricky Roma just reminds me of my mate Neil, like just a absolutely could sell you fucking anything, Dave, and I mean anything. And that's what the Ricky Roma character is the cliche sort of salesman, but Alec Baldwin is in the movie for less than 10 minutes and he steals the whole show, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He is unbelievable. And reading up on it, as you said, it's used in so many sales pitches, and this scene and movies, like they send it to salespeople who get taken on and learning the trade and go, watch this movie. You've got to be able to do, you just watch these bits in it. And honestly, Alec Baldwin is brilliant in this. As much as you've got Al Pacino as Ricky Roman, Alec Baldwin is excellent as Blake in it. He comes in and just tears them a new arsehole, and that's exactly what I've been in loads of sales meetings when the buy-in side of it. I have to do a presentation on where we are, what stock we've got coming in, why there's delay on stuff, and then the salespeople are just kicking with the sales director, and he would just fucking lay into him, Dave. So I've been sat there like, honestly, PTSD, but also, as you can hear, not that I would ever go back to that job, but he got the juices flowing of like, I used to love the fucking anarchy of it all and trying to get deals for them and for their. Oh yeah, I don't know. There's just something about this movie as 25 years or 21, 22 year fucking lay dormant in me. But this was like, I used to love that. One thing I loved about that job was that anarchy of it all and the unpredictability of it.
Yeah, it's definitely not a business as usual type role, is it? And again, I think for me, I'm more comfortable with it now, but at the time, and even when I saw that first Alec Baldwin scene, it was just too fucking toxic, masculine, over the top sales. Like, say, just crawl over your own grandmother for $10 or whatever. But now I can kind of enjoy it. And that, I agree, that performance is just unbelievable. And for me, it's not that much, away from reality. And what I'd say is it definitely feels like a stage play, doesn't it? Like the whole movie. But I mean, about the beginning in particular, I do love just the dour setting. I mean, it's not quite like Seven levels, but everything's dark. It's pissing it down with rain seemingly all the time. And I think the thing is, I've seen that scene so many times. I just kind of love it. The little things I didn't notice so much the first time, because it is a bit of a performance, because you've got Blake, Alec Baldwin there, and he's talking to Williamson. He's like, is everyone here? Right. Okay. Now he can go. And fucking poor Shelley Levine there just happens to be grabbing himself a coffee right at the moment when he's deciding he's gonna start. He's like, put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only. And you're like, oh, fucking hell. Like, now he's off to the races. But again, I just can't have anything but admiration for the performance, because as kind of uncomfortable as it is, and you've got, I mean, Ed Ross, we quite often see him in these roles, he's often a baddie, isn't he? Kind of the character, something like his role off The Rock, where he's just this badass. And he's obviously got things to say for himself, but Blake just fucking bullies him down. And then every single comeback, he's never lost for words at all. Even when Shelley's like, the leads are weak. The leads are weak. You're weak. Good father. Fuck you. Go home, play with your kids. And so I don't know how many takes or whatever it took, but it seems not like one shot, but, just seamless how it moves from one bit to the other. But my favourite bit is probably the fact that he's got some brass balls tucked away in his briefcase there. And the way he just steps to the side and says, what you need is brass balls. And I'm like, this is a masterful performance, and it deserves all the plaudits it gets.
Oh, he's excellent in it. He is. It's fucking brilliant. But I love the fact that once he leaves, you've got like this office in sort of shock of like, oh, well, fucked. Because Pacino's in it, but more towards the end, isn't he? He's in it at the start, but the story is like, he's the top guy and he's the top sales guy. He's in little bit scenes, but towards the end, his character comes into his own. But I was watching it thinking, is this Glengarry fucking real estate? Is it even real? Is it just a ruse, to draw everyone out? Is it like a fake like plot and everything? Because you're right, like the dialogue is just rapid in it. It's so quick. It's how salespeople would talk to each other because they're chasing stuff and then they're trying to keep the head above water, pay the bills, but then looking like they've got the shit together as well. And I think that's what this movie does really well, is it breaks down what's really going on, why these people are driven to do the jobs. Obviously, Jack Lemmon, he's fucking hell, David. One of his probably his last movies, but he's brilliant as Shelley, isn't he? You know, the machine. As he's called it. He's really good in this, and like the fact that he's down on his fucking himself and all that. He's like really like, you know, he's not made a sale for ages, and they're going to lose the job and everything. And I find that like this whole thing where he's like, well, you know, if you come in with like Kevin Spacey as well, I know, you know, what's gone in his life and all that sort of thing in his career. But in this, he's just a great anchor for everyone, isn't he? He isn't as much a salesperson. He's the office manager, but he's still got something in him. And I just love the dialogue between all of them, the scenes, like you say, the rain, where they're going. And it's a typical sales thing, that the hours, when people do sales, their hours are not 9 to 5. They follow through. I've seen it with the car showroom stuff where the salesmen are coming in on the day off to hand over cars even to us and do deals for other people. And they're doing the handover because they want to make sure it all goes smooth because it's about the commission and stuff. So it is, you have to have thick skin to be, as much as I'm just slagging salespeople off because I've had bad experience with working with ones. It doesn't mean everyone's like that. You're right. But also you've got to have a lot of bottle. And you know me, I'm always about, I love that, trying to get a scam or get some freebie, and it's about who's blinking first. But like I've said to you before, I've had it recently where it really backfired. Someone personal really backfired me a couple of years ago, and you were like, yeah, that didn't work for you. I went, no, this is the first time when I've got to admit defeat and go, I was out of my depth. Most of the time you can blag stuff, but there was this one scenario I was well out of my depth, and I was like so fucking relieved when it all got resolved, Dave. And I think being a salesperson, you've got to have just an absolutely unequivocal, I am not going to blink. I'm going to let this ride out. I'm going to, you know, put myself on the line. I'm going to tell bullshit if it means it gets me over the line. And I think that's what's good about this movie. It's so relevant, even though it's 34 years old. It's just nothing changes in sales or anything. I think it's such a good movie. And real estate as well, David, like estate agency. I know it's different, and but we've dealt with some recently when we're selling our house. We went with because we've got a new build. We had a local company who the new build thing is like they take the house, you sell the house, but you get all incentives to buy from them and all this. And we had all like different incentives for the house. It's all like worked into the price, but you feel as if you're getting more value. So they try and sell it through their estate agent. And then after a couple of weeks, they got a local estate agent, and he come round, this guy who had the house valued a few years ago, and he was like, Dave, he couldn't have been more of a fucking salesman. Little guy, suit on that was too big for him. The proper fucking loafer fucking shoes on. He's got a briefcase. He comes in, and I'm like, it's like something out of the 80s. And he's like, yeah, I'm the best salesperson round here. I can sell your house and all this. Well, he didn't sell my house in the end. It was by fate. They didn't answer the phone. But he's absolutely just salesman. It's like you just know I can't explain it, but I do love the patter when they're trying to sell themselves as much as they're selling their business, you know, how good they are, and how then they slag off the competitors, don't they? Oh yeah, they're shit, and and you're like, yeah, it's not all true, this, but you know, it's like a dance you have to go through, don't you, when you're doing these sort of things? But it's stressful, but also, yeah, I don't know. As you can hear in my voice, I just really enjoyed this movie. I just was like, this is just it's so much nostalgia and segues on this, but I just think the performances is just excellent. There's no violence in it. There's no real. It's all about manipulation in it, which is just it's really well put. And you're right, it's a play, and it's played out like a play, different scenarios and scenes. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I wasn't sure which way this one would go, because I thought, well, the fact that there's no action or anything, I thought you might not jive with it.
Okay, Huggy. What's the word on the street?
but I mean, before I forget, because I was looking at it, like, it's such a weird title, isn't it? And I noticed you stumbling a bit there over the title. So Glengarry Glen Ross, it's basically based on the real estate that they're trying to sell. So Glengarry Highlands and Glen Ross Farms are these fictional kind of real estate plots, and you know, the names of them they're supposed to evoke this prime bit of real estate, these rolling hills, this lovely setting, but actually the real estate is shit. But the salesmen don't care. They're just trying to sell it anyway, like it's the best thing. And I do think, you said about the performances, I do think every single performance in this is stellar. There are so many great characters in here, and they are all acting their asses off. But I gotta say, Jack Lemmon, straight from the start, you see him, he's actually on the phone, and he's obviously, it feels like the net is closing around him. He's trying to, he can't sell stuff because the leads are weak, but also he's got debts to pay and whatever. And then you see him in the office and having this back and forth and whatever, and speaking like a normal person in a sales office. But then as soon as he gets in front of a potential prospect, he kind of turns on the different cadence to his voice, and he's so lovely, and he's like your best mate, and it screams desperation. And I was thinking, kind of after I'd finished the movie, actually, I was thinking, I tell you what, old Shelley Levine there doesn't half remind me of old Gil, from the Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
So I Googled it. And that's who the voice actor was thinking of when he played the character of old Gil, the desperate salesman. And so this movie has inspired that character, because it was I think it was written just to be like a throwaway character. But then, I fucking love old Gil. I always think back to that when I get a whiff of desperation from a salesman. I've always thought of old Gil, but now I think I'll think more of Shelley Levine.
100%. And I think you're right. Like, such a brilliant character. I think what's nice, Dave, as well, is that you've got like this fictional, it's not fictional, but this mythical lead in it, and they're all going, they want the car and everything. But like, in the trailer, Al Pacino's just talking utter shit, isn't he? Ricky Roma, like, he's not, he's got the cockiness about him, hasn't he? Because he's like the top salesperson. He's got a real cockiness about him. And I think that's what's interesting. He's like, he doesn't get knocked down a peg or two, but even he can't get the leads, can he? He's trying, and he just can't get the leads that he needs. He can't get anything to do with this like fictional, deal that you want to get over the line to keep the jobs and stuff. Because it's weird how like Alec Baldwin comes in and said, and he kicks ass, gone, he's done, that's him out of the movie. And I find that really interesting, because the way he delivers it actually hangs over his head, if that makes sense. It not hangs over his head, it hangs over the movie with everyone else, because he's such a dominant force in the movie. That's what I found really interesting. He's like, he just dominates the whole thing, Alec Baldwin. And that's like what I really fucking find interesting. I find it really, really good. The way he doesn't do a lot, but it's enough for everyone to be thinking, this guy's on the shoulder, we're fucked here, we're not going to get away with this. This is, you know what I mean? Like, I really, really find it interesting. I do.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's really good.
It's the Glengarry leads. Mitch and Murray paid good money for these leads. And so, they're locked away in the office there. And when we were talking before the trailer about sales, I think what I like about the Dave character, old Dave Moss there, played by Ed Ross, he's more old school. I know you could say Shelley Levine's old school, but for me, Shelley's a guy who used to be able to sell stuff the wrong way. He was called the machine, so he'd sell stuff. Doesn't matter what he's selling, just sell it anyway. Whereas Dave talks about, you want to sell multiple cars to one person over many years. So you can't screw them over. So you've got to make sure what you're selling them is actually, what they need and what they want and what they can afford. So they're having this conversation in the bar, and the other guy's even more desperate, but I don't think he's ever been able to sell anything. And I thought that was interesting because he's talking about, stealing the leads, and he's almost like blackmailing the other guy to say, well, maybe I'll just blame you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that whenever I've been in a position where I've been trying to sell stuff, I'm much more kind of aligned to the Ed Ross way of selling. And you would like to think to be successful over the long term, that for me is how you have to be. Because if you're going to screw someone over, if you're going to sell them some crap real estate, and you've sold them the dream, well, they're never going to come back for repeat business, are they? But it's all about this month's sales figures, this quarter's sales figures, or annual figures, whatever. You're trying to get to some target. And so, these guys are put in a position, literally, first prize a Cadillac, second prize, set of steak knives, third prize, you're fired. It's just, it really puts the pressure on, doesn't it? And then you can see they're all desperate. And, I kind of hate the fact that you do have this massively, toxic, fucking overly capitalist culture, but it's fucking brilliant all the same.
No, it is. It's a great movie. And I think it's just something completely different. We've done loads of these movies, haven't we, where we just do something, we do a lot of action or whatever. And then you go down this route and you're like, actually, it's fucking really good. And listen, I think from a play point of view, you can see, even watching it as a movie, you can see how it's structured and how it works. But I love the fact that, like, Shelley is just doing anything. And when he's talking to Kevin Spacey, John Williamson is the manager, and they're chatting, aren't they, about the robbery, and there's been a burglary and everything, and they're like, the leads have gone and everything. And it's all throwaway, in it. It's all like a flippant comment. And all of a sudden, Spacey's character just goes, hang on a minute. What? How did you know that? Nobody would know that unless the thief. And fucking Shelley's like, no. And he's like, no, but nobody would know that if they didn't, and it all transpires then what's going on. And I think that's like, that. It's not Usual Suspects twist, but Shelley's just not the same person, is he? And I love the fact that fucking Ricky Romer's just like, yeah, I'm going to the bar, see ya, and fucks off. It's just like, what did you think of the end bit though? Because I felt like the way it's not revealed, but Shelley's like, he's constantly looking over his shoulder, and he's being dodgy, and he's trying to keep his head above the water, and then just one comment just sort of reveals his whole secret, doesn't he, after getting these deals back and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is I did look to see if I could see this play after I watched the movie, because I was just like, I would like to see this on the stage. And they're actually showing it, or they were, at the Old Vic down in London, with an all-female cast, which I thought was quite interesting. Because I thought, well, this is so male, just really over the top. Masculine energy kind of in the office. So I thought, I wonder how they do that, but I think it's finished now, so I kind of missed my chance. But leading up to that reveal, I mean, it goes on for ages, doesn't it? And I think that's what makes it feel like a stage play as well. It's all just in the office. And you've had Ricky Romer. He's been given the hard sell to James, played by Jonathan Pryce, the High Sparrow in Game of Thrones. And basically, you can see James has gone home and his wife's tore strips off him for buying this shit real estate. And he's come back into the office to try and get his money back, and he knows he's got a 3-day cooling period. And Ricky has been so evasive, and Shelley's trying to back him up and saying, come on, we need to head out, and basically trying to evade the fact that he's got this cooling off period. And you can see James is fairly desperate, and then Williamson fucking drops it completely, because Ricky's trying to say, oh no, it's fine, we'll sort that out, you got 3 days and whatever, it's not been sent to, we didn't send it out last night. And Williamson says, oh no, it went out last night. And then that's the thing that everyone's pissed off about. And fucking Al Pacino's dressing down of the office manager or the office weasel, Spacey. It was just brilliant, because he's just like, he drops the "see you next Tuesday," doesn't he? And he's like, he knows that he's just cost him that deal. He's cost him the Cadillac. He's like, you owe me a car. And so I think that was absolutely fantastic. But then that lays up the fact. So Ricky buggers off, and then Shelley decides to stick the boot in as well. And that's why I don't really have any sympathy. I think, like I say, Ed Ross's character, Dave, is probably the most relatable character in it. But, none of them are particularly nice people, because Shelley has sold this deal. And now he's Bertie Big Bollocks, isn't he? So he's trying to... He sold this deal, and he decides he's going to stick the boot in with Williamson. He says, you don't... you never open your mouth unless you know what the play is. And just gives him an absolute dressing down. But that's when he fucks up. He says, you need to know it's a lie, or whatever he says. And then you can see the penny drop, don't you? With Williamson. Hang about. You couldn't have known that it was a lie unless you were the person who came in and sent the leads out. And you'd have seen that this stuff didn't get sent out last night, because I normally send it out. And so he's basically giving himself the fucking rope to hang himself, Shelley. And I think they could have maybe done that with the camera work. I feel like they could have had that penny dropping moment hit a little bit harder. But yeah, he basically fucked himself there.
Oh, fucking brilliant. It's a brilliant ending as well, Dave. And you know what's really nice as well? Not nice, but is Thingy's, I haven't talked about him enough, really. Thingy's character, Alan Arkin, George, is at the end when it all unravels, and he just goes straight to the phone and just fucking picks it up and starts fucking looking for business, cold calling. There were so many bits about the cold calling bit just remind me of Wolf of Wall Street. They obviously took some sort of inspiration. I know that's a real character in that, but it was just like, yeah, it's brilliant. And I know it's a nod to the American sales world and all that sort of thing, but it feels very familiar at the end, and I love it. I love the end bit. I think it's just great. And I didn't think I'd be sitting there going, this is a great movie. And when it started, I was like, come on, what's going on? Is it a gangster movie? I didn't have any idea what he was about until we got the trailer. And then watching it, I thought, this is going to be fucking terrible. I'm going to absolutely hate this. But I didn't. Honestly, I think you've picked a bit of a gem, really. I can totally understand why it's got the plaudits and the review scores, because I think the sad thing is, though, Dave, the budget, 12.5 million, it made 10 million at the box office, 10.7. What the fuck's that all about? Like, absolutely straight to video. This is in it, really. It made absolutely nothing. I've never heard of it. I don't think it's ever been on UK TV, but it's an absolute hidden gem, this movie. It's a cracking movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a bit of a hard sell. Even I remember asking when I saw that scene for the first time, I'm sure I remember asking, like, oh, what's the rest of the movie about? Oh, it's about some real estate sales guys. Right. And, there's a burglary, and it's almost like a murder mystery. And actually, the music at the start makes you feel like it's going to be some kind of noir movie, doesn't it? Like you mentioned about it being a gangster movie. I think the music at the start makes it feel that way. But yeah, it's just a bit of a left field one, isn't it? It doesn't fit nicely into a particular box. But anyway, Chris, should we get into our final review?
Let's go. So, Dave, I can't thank you enough. Great movie. Something completely different. I wasn't expecting. I've been away on my Judith Chalmers holidays again, Dave. So it was completely a breath of fresh air to put this on, actually, if I'm being honest. I just didn't. I'm not going to enjoy this. I'm going to come in and absolutely lay into it. Dave stitched me up. You hadn't stitched me up, but I found like just drawing from the old sales stuff and being a buyer and working with some dodgy salespeople. I know I laid into him at the start, like proper cliche and saying this is what they're like. I know not every salesperson's like that, but just from my experience and working with various ones who were just start on a Monday and by Friday they were gone, sort of thing. They hate, you know, and then you'd get the ones who were there for life who would just tread on anybody they work with. It was so relatable. So yeah, it absolutely caught me off guard. So I'm going to put this Dave in. He's not going to the top, but I've got to say, I'm going to put in Pleasantville, Dave. Pleasantville. It's a great movie, just above the top of Hill Valley. It's a great movie and definitely one I'd watch again. I just found it so fascinating. And I know if you watch it again, there's going to be things I've missed, bits of dialogue, little tee-ups of different things that's going on within the movie. But yeah, it's a great movie and just, yeah, totally underappreciated, I think. So what about you, Dave?
No, very good. I think I'm right there with you. I think it's not quite a Cloud City. I think it's just below that. So just a Pleasantville. But in terms of, I guess you could say it is a fairly small budget. So, you know, punching above its weight there. And yeah, just absolutely loves going through the whole movie. And to be honest, like you, I think because it reminds you a bit of your own work life, it adds another kind of layer to it as well. I think if I'd have watched this in 92, I don't think I'd have enjoyed it. I just wouldn't understand it. I wouldn't understand what's going on. It'd just been a bunch of blokes talking about selling shit and, you know, they're trying to solve the mystery of who did the robbery. But watching it now and just getting into the characters and the performances, just unbelievable. I mean, we've done a few Al Pacino ones now, haven't we? And you sometimes get that over the top, you know, what was it he says in Heat? You know, it's got a great ass. You don't quite get that from Ricky Roma. He's a bit more toned down. But you can absolutely see him as he's got the hair that he's spent a long time on in the morning, and he's got the silver tongue, hasn't he? And, you know, just a great, great character. And I think the fact that he isn't the standout character, you've got so many great performances in there. I just think it's fantastic. So I don't actually even know what's keeping me from a Cloud City. I think I might even come back to revise this one day, but I did absolutely love it. I will absolutely be watching this again. And yeah, just a completely different movie that I have that feeling of, I've got to watch this again. You know, normally, you know, for action movies and stuff like that, martial arts movies, you know, they have lots and lots of rewatchability for me. But this kind of movie where, you know, we know what the outcome is now. Yeah, I just really want to watch it for those performances. So yeah, Pleasantville from me.
Cracking movie. So, Dave, it is a Patreon pick next week, and it's our good friend Dylan. Now, this movie is one that I have watched so many short videos on it, short clips on it, but never actually watched it in its entirety. So, I'm looking forward to this one, Dave. This is, and listen, anybody who's going to watch it, this isn't for the faint-hearted. It's an absolutely iconic movie from New Zealand, Dave. I'm sure our good friend Blake has watched this one. This one stars, Dave, Cliff Curtis, Rena Owen, but more importantly, Tamara Morrison, Dave. Now, this one is Once We're Warriors from 1994, so let's get into the trailer. I know this is iconic. It's on TikTok all the time. I've just seen shorts for years on this, but never watched the movie.
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
1,000 years ago, the Maoris discovered New Zealand.
Our people once were warriors. They were people with pride. People with spirit.
Today,
Mad Max there, Dave.
Yeah.
You too. Do you think we'll ever get out of here too?
Dunno.
Frightened.
You like your pretty boy face.
Angry. Lost.
Been keeping bad company.
Was it before or after you picked him up?
Once were warriors. The story of one woman's fight for freedom.
Proper fight on this one, Dave, and all that.
You're a hard man, Jakey.
Aren't they beautiful when they're like that?
Just drunk, that's all.
People say their true feelings when they're drunk.
Oh, God.
I've got a temper on me, but who hasn't?
One family's fight for survival.
Leave that kid alone. You know, that's your problem. You spoil a lot of them.
Don't care about any of us.
Tell Jakey you love him.
This is trouble, Jake. I do.
In the spirit of the past,
You think your fist is your weapon?
there is power.
I have taught you. Your mind will be.
Don't want any more of these drunken parties or your mates coming around.
Possibility.
Told you about this thing, eh?
You're still a slave, Jake. To your fist. To the drink.
I'm a lovable chap.
To yourself.
Once were warriors.
Gonna hurt my babies anymore.
A woman's journey home.
Yeah, can't wait for this, Dave. I just don't know what I'm going to think of it. I know he's a polarizing character, Tamara Morrison's character. He's just absolutely Jake the Muss, he's called. Just, yeah. So I think and there's a second one, I know that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've never seen it, and I don't know why. I just always have this idea in my head. I remember the cover of this, and I just think I think of it as a martial arts movie. But also, I mean, this is 94. I mean, that was the explosion of tribal tattoos as well, wasn't it? So, I mean, that looks like it's going to be a tough watch, to be fair. But yeah, really looking forward to watching this one.
Oh, it's going to be a belter, absolute belter. So thanks, Dylan. I'm so pleased we've got that, because that's one I have on my radar to pick as well, because I've never seen it, but I just don't know. I think it's an iconic movie you've got to watch, I think, especially for what we do, Dave. So no, looking forward to it. And as always, thank you everyone for your support recently. You know where you guys are. I do appreciate it. I know I've been quite open about what we're going through as a family, and obviously, Dave, you're Starman, as always, supporting me and stuff. Even if you are giving me shit about United, well, that's exactly how it should be, being a Liverpool fan. But no, thank you to a lot of people out there who've privately messaged me. I do appreciate it. And everyone who supports me and Dave on the podcast, you know, you're such good people. Thank you so much. If you want to email us, the VHSStrikesback@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @VHSStrikesback. If you do want to support us, please go over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. So the roll call of honour, and a big thank you to Chris, Graham, Matt, Reese, Nick, Greg, Gareth, Mike, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Dan, Justin, Susan, Tim, Matt, Ken, Lucky the Green, Herbs, Jack, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. Amazing for me and Dave. We love it, and just really, really good people. And if you are a Patreon, just keep your eyes peeled, because we've got a couple of late fees coming up over the next couple of months for you guys. And any of the back, if you've missed out on any of them, they are available on Patreon as well. So plenty of movies that we cover for you guys, and all your support is greatly appreciated. So Dave, what musical magic have you got today?
Well, just before that, Chris, I wanted to highlight, so thanks to everyone who comments on Spotify and whatever. We obviously don't read out all of the comments, but we had a couple of corkers that I wanted to highlight. And so the first one was a comment against Gregory's Girl, and I think that might have been someone maybe north of the border who'd sought out the some of our older reviews and probably loves the movie. And I seem to remember, I don't think either of us particularly liked it, but I think you went in a bit harder. And Kieran says, "What the fuck is the guy with the higher voice on about?"
I take it that's me.
I would say so, but that's just the warm up, Chris. That's a little hors d'oeuvre for the main event.
Oh, God.
So for this one from Jarvo, I mean, what you've got to do, you've got to channel your inner Neil from Planes, Trains and Automobiles. You know, when he comes back from the rental car that wasn't actually there, and he gets up to the desk and he just puts out all these expletives. I'm not sure, is that the bit where Elvis is supposed to be? But
yeah.
But anyway, this one says, I'm going to try and be Neil. I don't fucking think I can fucking listen to fucking any fucking more fucking episodes of this fucking podcast because of the fucking amount of fucking words used as fucking pronunciation. Fucking awful.
Okay, well, don't let the door hit you on the back of the head on your way out there. It's what it says on the tin. I'd take that as a compliment, to be honest, Dave. And that's obviously you, Dave, swearing more than me. But I love them reviews. I love them.
Fantastic. So yeah, I thought that was good. So I just wanted to share that one. But Chris, for the musical one, I was thinking, I mean, it's hard, especially after that ending, not to think about the character of Shelley being in that, that central point, where everything, he starts off the movie and you can smell the desperation on him already. And then, he's so desperate, he's going to commit a burglary and just to basically do his job. He's that desperate. And so I decided to go with a little bit of a Queen angle on this one.
Oh, nice.
And this is the Lavinian Rhapsody.
Oh, fucking brilliant.
The office lights are fading. The phones have all gone still.
Very Queen, yeah.
There's coffee going colder and my name upon the bill. I was the man once, I was the machine. I could sell a patch of dirt and make it sound like a dream. Give me one good lead, one name that isn't dead, one little card to get me out of my head. The board is getting crueler, the month is turning red, and Williamson keeps smiling like he wants to see me dead. Easy close, easy go, high before now very low. Any way the deal goes, it never seems to pay me. Oh, Shelley Levine, the machine, the machine. Still selling bad land like a beautiful dream. Oh, Shelley Levine, can you close today? Give me one good lead tonight and I'll make it go my way. I had the patter, I had the nerve, I had the handshake and the smile they deserve. Now Moss is whispering, Roma grins, Arano sweats through other people's sins. Coffee's for closers, so mine went cold. Always be closing, that line gets old. Shelley Levine, Shelley Levine, can you close the condo? Glengarry Glen Ross, Glengarry Glen Ross. Why did all the good leads go? No good leads for you. Let me close. No good leads for you. Let me close. No good leads for you. Steal the leads, did I agree? Speak softly. ABC, always be closing. Coffee's for closers. Put that coffee down right So you think you can stop me with names that won't buy? So you think you can bury me and watch the old man die? Oh, Williamson, you can't do this to me. I was closing before you learned to file alphabetically. First prize Cadillac, second prize knives, third prize you're fired. That's sales, that's life. The machine ain't dead, the machine still talks, the machine still smiles when the buyer walks.
Oh, yeah. Get the guitar in, Dave.
Yeah, a bit of Brian May.
Feel like Gary Moore as well.
Oh, Jeff will be out.
Good old Jeff. The legend.
Little card, one little name, one final shot at the old man's game. Give me one good lead before I fade away. The leads were weak, but I closed it my
Very good.
Oh, a little bit of money at the end there, Dave. Very good.
So I know that's a bit of a longer one, bit of an epic, but like I say, I was very much thinking of Bohemian Rhapsody there. Just imagining, the Lavinian Rhapsody being belted out at Live Aid. You got Freddie there in his white vest top, wears wife beater top, as you like to say. But yeah, had a lot of fun with that one, Chris.
No, very good, mate. And great episode today. I really enjoyed it. After coming back off my holes, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, but cracking movie, mate.
Yeah, very good. And we are, tackling another tough one next week, but absolutely iconic movie as well. So I know there's a lot of people who listen who will be interested in maybe rewatching it as well and then listening to what we have to say. So, Chris, thank you very much, sir. Been great to be back. Thanks to our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back. That's not.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy something.
I ain't breathing heavy.
He's a fool. He's stupid. I've seen you in 6 months.
I must break you.